Attendance has also become very pathetic. I don't know why. Why children don't come for classes. Okay. A lot of people have got a feel now as if main exams are over. Come on, let's talk about what is called corrosion. Okay, and this is the last part. In fact, this is more about theory. Little bit we need to understand. It's more about discussion. So, what is corrosion? One of the biggest problem, okay, for any economy or any country is about corrosion. Corrosion is degradation of the quality of any metal due to reaction. It's a chemical reaction. At the end of the day, what is happening in corrosion is that there would be, I would have a metal or a metallic structure. I would have a metal. This metal will undergo chemical reactions, and these chemical reactions will be generally supported by the ambient environment. These will be supported by the ambient conditions. What do I mean by ambient conditions? The conditions prevailing in and around that particular metal. Okay, let us say for example a bridge. So whatever are the conditions in and around that bridge, they will actually support these chemical reactions, and as a result of these chemical reactions, the metal will degrade. Okay, the metal will degrade, which in fact is a loss for the economy. And this is a big time loss. This is a big time loss for anything. Metal means in the end of the day, we should understand the metal will be a part of something metallic structure. Now ask yourself a question. How many metallic structure do we deal every day? Thousands of metallic structures we are dealing. In fact, your own apartment where you're staying, right at the basement, if something starts, you have so much of iron pillars which are going through all these reinforced concrete. I think you know what is reinforced concrete, right? Concrete means RCC, reinforced cement concrete. Every concrete has got iron pillars through it, metal. Now, if the iron pillar starts getting exposed, they start corroding. And once they corrode, these reactions and the reactions that will happen, these reactions will be continuous reactions. And generally, the overall process of this corrosion is a slow process. It's a slow process. That means in English we'll say over time they will degrade, or the metal will decay, okay, or the surface of the metal will lose out. So what is happening end of the day, what we are losing out is that the metal is losing its strength, or if the metal is losing its strength, it is equivalent to say that the metallic structure is losing its strength. Let's take some common example. Even worldwide, say Eiffel Tower in France. Eiffel Tower has a major cost towards its protection. It's a metallic structure. Huge amount of corrosion is happening in Eiffel Tower. So getting the whole Eiffel Tower painted itself is a big budget. Or say you have bridges, so many bridges we have, or bridges which are on the coastal area, railway bridges. So you have marine environment, and the marine environment is causing sufficient amount of corrosion. And if that corrosion is happening, the metal is degrading. So we say, what is corrosion? Corrosion is the degradation of the metal, eating up of the metal. Due to what? Due to chemical reactions which are supported by the ambient environment. And who in the ambient environment, what are the two things who will support corrosion most? Will be air and moisture. And moisture is air and moisture. Moisture is the presence of water vapor. See, water in water vapor format or in liquid format. And if you make this water marine, your problems quadruple more, right? So it says eating up of the metals by the action of air or moisture or a chemical reaction such as acid on the surface is called corrosion. Now, once again, we need to also understand that there can be ambient conditions. Let us also understand, where is this metal performing? Is it performing in a corrosive environment? Corrosive means, how to say I have a pipe, I have a small metallic structure, like say the doorknob. One of the best examples, let me give you. If you see, have you seen dish antennas of all these companies who have televisions? You have got Sun TV, you have other things. If you go to Vizag or say any of these coastal areas, you won't be able to make out who is your service provider. Every dish antenna is red in color or maroon in color, because everyone is undergoing corrosion. Now, why is this? Even people will not prefer to buy a second-hand car either from Vizag. People generally don't buy second-hand car from areas in Mumbai around Andheri and Versova and all, because they are all near to the sea. That's because the metal of that car is being eaten up, and it's a fact. If you look at a television set, if you look at the backside of television sets which are in Vizag and all, you will find that none of the metallic sockets are no more in steel color. They've all become brown, brown, brown. Why? Because the metal is being exposed to a corrosive environment. Now, what is causing corrosion out there? In Vizag, I would say the corrosion is being caused due to air moisture and the water which is there, that is a marine environment, salty. Now, let's say another way. Let's say we have a pharmaceutical or say a chemical plant, where every time I've got pipelines which are carrying different type of fluids. Some pipelines might be carrying acids, dilute acids. Dilute acid itself is corrosive. That will also degrade the quality of metal. And what we say, the metal will start forming what is called scale formation. Scale is like, after sometimes you can prick, papad ki tarah girte rahega. That pipe will go on becoming thinner and thinner and thinner. The fire water pipes which we have right below on our basement, fire water does not mean that the water should be very filtered. So the water is not of the great quality, and they are passing through what? Iron pipes. It's already been, I'm being here in this society for the last 12 years. So don't you think there's a corrosion going on inside? So every time you should start checking the thickness of that particular, you should start checking the thickness of the gauge of that pipe. Even in your house, you've got geysers. If your geysers are outside, you will see metallic hose pipes, steel hose pipes which are connected to the geyser. What is the steel hose pipe carrying? Unfiltered water. Plus the water is hot. If you raise the temperature, reactions happen much more faster. So slowly you'll see your steel pipe gets corroded and one or two wires are coming out. And then one day what will happen? The steel pipe will burst if you don't take care of it. Or else you see all the bolts which are there right below your wash basin and all. I think you've got a fair bit of idea now what is corrosion. Degradation, what is, like you have pollution which we associate with the environment. Corrosion is associated with any of a metal or a metallic structure. For us, our metallic structures are more important. In cars, once a car has been delivered to you, during the first service, if you are in Bombay, the dealer will always say, after 2 services, just get a chassis black painted. It's a thick coat of black paint which is painted right below the chassis of the car, because in Bombay it rains more, and more your car is on rainwater. आप तो उसको चला के आ जाओगे, वो rainwater वहीं चिपका रहेगा, सूखेगा, and it will start corroding your car. Look at sometimes on the bumper areas of the car, they're all getting corroded. So painting is very much required. So have you got a fair bit of idea now what is corrosion? Degradation of the quality of metal due to some chemical reactions which are continuous, and these chemical reactions are always supported by the ambient condition, usually air and moisture comes from water, and if you have temperature. Now for some people the ambient condition might also carry acids. Like suppose I'm in an acidic environment, I'm in an area where there is a lot of industry in and around, so a lot of effluent is being released. Effluent means in the form of gas, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxides are being released. So my structures are more prone for acid rain. So after some time you will see that these frames and other things have started corroding off. Clear hua? Okay. So we take up corrosion of 1 or 2 or 3 type of metals out here and try to understand what happens. It is a loss, a huge amount of money the industry spends upon protecting something. Just imagine all the crude oil pipelines which are running cross country also. Nowadays we have got cross country pipelines. In India we have got pipelines which are running from Gujarat to UP, from Maharashtra to UP, Bombay High to UP, all across. They're all going below the earth. वो भी तो corrode करेगा. And crores of crores are spent on it. We are having pipelines below the sea. How are you protecting them? ठीक है? तो अब देखते हैं. Let's see about corrosion of 1, 2 or 3 type of metals. The first being iron. So the corrosion of iron has been given name of rusting. Rusting. Okay. Rusting कैसा है? In order to rust, you should have the metal, and this metal is the one which is going to get sacrificed. Rusting is an electrochemical reaction. In later classes, you will see, जब भी rusting होता है, rusting is an electrochemical reaction which also produces voltage. बढ़िया चीज है. Rusting produces voltage also. Very minimum voltage, but it will produce. So this will be studied in great detail in grade 11. So I have to have someone who will sacrifice. The iron is going to sacrifice, and it reacts with simply moisture. And moisture comes from combination of air and water. ठीक है? और इसके साथ ही ये बन जाएगा. The flakes or the powder that you see is actually rust, right? So iron first oxidizes. Fe oxidizes to, we don't need the reaction so much. Fe oxidizes to FeO. FeO further oxidizes to Fe2O3, that is iron 2 oxide, iron 3 oxide, and rust is iron 2,3 oxide. Look at this. FeO. If I say FeO, then this is what? Iron 2 oxide. Because the oxidation state of iron is +2 out here. Then there is, this will further oxidize to Fe2O3. This is iron 3 oxide. Okay. And both of them further react and it forms Fe3O4. This is called iron 2 and 3 oxide. Iron 2, 3 oxide dot XH2O. Water of crystallization. Dot XH2O depends on the extent of rusting that is happening. ये rust flake है बेटा. ये जो है ना, ये rust flake. This is your rust flake. And this will come up as powders or it will come as flakes. The best example, your balcony grill. If you see your balcony grill, it's not that smooth across all the bars. Somewhere it has corroded, somewhere ज़्यादा आ गया है. ये इन दोनों का मिक्सचर है Fe3O4. एक ही आयरन नहीं, ये रिएक्ट होते ही जा रहा है. It reacts, it first forms iron oxide. ये रिएक्शन आपके लिए जरूरी नहीं है, पर समझने के लिए पहले आयरन ऑक्साइड फॉर्म कर जाएगा. Iron oxide further undergoes oxidation to form, this is ferrous, this is ferric oxide, and this is iron 2, 3 oxide, and with it will get paired up XH2O. ठीक है? So let us say I have an iron structure. This is my iron structure. Let's say I have an iron knife. Okay. Let's say we have an iron knife like this. This is iron knife. The ones which people you'll see with the fishermen and the butchers जो लेके जो काटते रहते हैं. ठीक है? तो ये iron knife है. ये iron knife को अभी आपको protection देना है. इसमें rusting होगा. Now if you see with the fishermen, they are actually cutting fish every day. So every time they are wetting it up and they are using it, so you don't see the rust formation, because maybe अगर rust थोड़ा सा भी form हुआ है, they again clean it, because this is their everyday job. But suppose you are a weekend chef and you have got an iron, this is an iron knife, not a stainless steel knife. Okay, mind you, this is an iron knife, and you are trying to cook some sort of fish today, and आपने fish cutting किया, or you just clean it, wash it, and you have kept it. It will start corroding. By next week, you will see there is a beautiful layer of brown layer which is formed on it, just like the watermark. After that, if you clean it, it goes away. But some part of metal has also got washed away. Okay? So now this is reacting with air. Now how do we protect it? Iska protection ke kya ways hai? Get a blanketing done around it so that you can cut off what? Oxygen. Knife, I can't paint. I need to use the iron. So when not in use, what do? Grease it. If you have got very good quality knives of iron and you don't want to know how do we grease it, the best way to grease it is either apply petroleum jelly or apply oil. Oil apply करके रख देने से इसका oxygen layer cut हो गया. And once oxygen layer is cut, further corrosion will not happen. Change this knife now to your balcony grill. Painting. Paint it. But paint is a recurring. So even in paint quality and the type of paint that we use, that paint and this paint is different. Okay, this is an acrylic paint. That is an oil paint. So oil paint will form a layer. Therefore, the painter will tell you, I have to apply 2 coats. First is you scrape it up completely so that no rust is there. One granule of rust will cause more rust formation. So the first job is take an iron brush and clean off the rust layer. Scrape it completely, or with a sandpaper and clean it. After cleaning, you are first supposed to not apply paint straight away. We apply something called a primer. A primer is another quality of paint which will hold to the skeleton of that structure. Then you apply your paint, 1 coat, let it dry, then another 1 coat, as much as you can spend, and on the quality of paint that you do. The environment is so corrosive that whenever we paint, we find our balcony absolutely new, brand new, but corrosion will peep into it. Itna rain hua kal. And once corrosion is able to get in 1 foot inside, it is sufficient. It will now start corroding. And then after 3 years, you'll see the paint layers itself coming out like peels of potato. Okay? And we should be very careful with, structures like people have these electrical ladders. Nowadays, ladders are all made up of aluminum. But whenever you're working on this scaffolding and other things, and you have got bolts and other things, have we ever checked the quality of the bolt? One of the best example that I wanted to give every day. I mean, don't laugh at that example now. Okay. The toilet seat pot that you have, WC. Okay, now there are two type of WCs available. One type of WC is there whose outlet is on the floor. You'll see it in many of your relatives' house or other thing. In our place, all the WC outlet is on the wall. So basically the WC is hanging on the wall, right? Just try to imagine, it's hanging on the wall. Does it come to your mind how was that thing fitted? So when the WC comes manufactured from the manufacturer, there will be something like, this is the portion which is going and fixing on the wall. Okay, then coming out, there will be 2 holes out here. That's it. So you will be first drilling on that concrete wall, and you will be putting 2 bolts, this big bolts. Do you know what is the price of that bolt? If it is a good quality bolt and you are doing it for your own house, a pair will cost you not less than 1,800 to 2,000. 2 bolts. Just imagine. Those 2 bolts are entered, and then the WC is put inside this, and then it is tightened. A human being's average weight is around 80 kilo, 85 kilo. They sit on it. Do you ever think that this thing can fracture? If it fractures, you're gone. वो तो नीचे गिरेगा ही porcelain, and it will become daggers. Porcelain नीचे गिरते ही टूट जाता है. See the amount of civil engineering involved. There is no other bolt in your WC. So next time when you go to your wash pot today and you see from this side, you'll see 1 bolt. And if you see it is badly rusted, change मतलब वैसा नहीं है, उसका ऊपर surface तो rust करेगा, because every time you're cleaning the bathroom, you're spraying water on it. But to penetrate that bolt is very difficult. Now what people do, they will spend so much on the house and they will buy these bolts for, बहुत महंगा लिया सब, आपको 400 में दिला देता हूँ. 400 में आप और wash pot दोनों नीचे रहेंगे. Just imagine, there are kids do not get their legs on the floor. They're actually sitting on it with both the legs hanging. So this one, and this type of a structure in civil we call cantilever, like the balcony. Does the balcony have any support? It's hanging. How is it hanging? ये कभी माथा में आता है आपको? Why does the balcony hang? Why is it this rain shed hanging? How is it hanging? There are iron pillars inside it. And there is concrete. Have you seen? These structures are made like that. ऐसे iron के, there will be iron bars like this. So on this structure will be first kept. On this concrete will be poured. Then we will pour concrete on it. पूरा concrete pour होगा. Concrete is what? A mixture of cement, gravel, stone, and everything. And they will allow it to cure. Now the concrete will go and hold it like this, and the structure remains. आपको डर नहीं होता है balcony नहीं गिरेगा? गिर सकता है. Balcony also falls. So the toilet seat pot is one of the best example. The 2 bolts that we are using are of very high grade. Some people say that they should be steel. If you are using iron use में नहीं होना है, steel use होना है. But steel does not mean that in your mind every time you think about that eating steel. That is stainless steel. Railway tracks are also steel, high grade steel. The butcher who is using this knife, or the fisherman, that is not iron, that is steel. वो किससे बनाता है पता है? Truck के नीचे, have you seen leaf springs? If you tailgate a truck, you will see some spring putties like this over the wheel. That is called leaf spring. Leaf means patta, leaf spring. So once a truck wala changes his leaf spring, all these people line up to take that. That is very high grade steel. And if you make knives and swords out of it, A1 quality. कभी खराब नहीं होगा. So this is an example. Now what is your environment in bathroom? Always water, moisture. Can you stop water moisture? No. Bathroom will always be wet, कुछ ना कुछ होने से. Plus sometimes you are using Harpic and other acid to clean it. So you're introducing corrosion. ये लोग कैसे हैं? कभी हम सोचते ही नहीं उसके बारे में. हमें लगता है एकदम सब ठीक है, छोटा सा बच्चा 16th फ्लोर में is sleeping. How do you guarantee that this ceiling will not fall? So do you understand how much you have to take care of corrosion at every point? If corrosion starts getting in, that's why nowadays we are switching off to what? Look at these type of windows that we have. These are UPVC windows, polyvinyl chloride, not even aluminum. हजार बारिश हो ये रस्ट नहीं होगा, ये प्लास्टिक है. यही अगर आयरन का विंडो होता रस्ट कर जाएगा. So one of the ways, so let's see how to protect rusting. One of the ways to protect rusting would be painting. Painting is one of the way. Number 2 will be grease coating or greasing as we say. ठीक है ना, greasing करते हैं, paint करते हैं. Paint is the most one that we use. And the third one is also known as galvanization. Do you know what is galvanization? Galvanization means you will take an article of iron and dip it in a molten solution of zinc. But the question again arises is, zinc is more reactive than iron. If you see the reactivity series, please stop calling me a zebra instead. So zinc is more reactive. Now this is an iron, say this is an iron glass, and you have actually dipped it in zinc, right? You have, oh boy, you are coating it with zinc. Sometimes you can see, and okay, now you're dipping it in the layer of zinc. But zinc is more corrosive than iron or more reactive. Why did you then put it in zinc? वो भी question आता है. Because zinc reacts with oxygen to form zinc oxide. So this zinc will react and it will form an oxide layer. And once it forms a zinc oxide layer, it is very, very difficult to penetrate. That's why we do galvanization. Buckets and other things are all galvanized. So is galvanization understood? Iron में इसके ऊपर और कुछ ज़्यादा पढ़ने का है ही नहीं, right? So let me write it properly. So in terms of iron rusting, the preventive measures that we will take is just try and understand, because you will get all what you call case study questions from here. Painting. Is the concept of painting understood? A paint will create a layer on the iron object, thereby not making the iron layer in contact with ambient condition of air and moisture. So the iron does not corrode. Another way is greasing. Lift the bonnet of your car, the battery terminals are always greased. Even this inverter also, we grease the battery terminal. Just take petroleum jelly that you put on your lips. You can just grease it. Greasing means, again, there won't be any sort of corrosion. The third one that we do is known as galvanization. The fourth is chrome plating. Chrome plating means an electroplating process. Electroplating you have studied in grade 10. What do you mean by electroplating? The process in which a desired metal is coated over another metal for two reasons, either to give it protection from corrosion or for a finish, look and finish. So we do chrome plating. Logos of car are not completely of chromium. A company would not like its logo ever to get rusted. Have you ever seen rusted logo? Whether you buy the cheapest car or cheapest bike, logos don't rust, and logos are damn costly. Mercedes के logo लोग चुराते हैं खोल के. The reason is बाहर बेचने से, मेल्ट कराने से पैसा ज़्यादा आता है. Logos are highly chrome plated, and chromium is a very costly metal. If you go to the very up-class hotels and all, their taps, like you see the Kohlers and the Jaguars, they are all chrome plated. So no matter what quality of water is coming, when you buy a new tap, you will see taps are available from 400 rupees to 3000 rupees. Both look very shiny. What is the difference? The 400 one just has a very thin layer, some micron layer of some shiny coating. After 1 month of use in your bathroom, that 400 rupee one is gone. Whereas if you use that 3000 rupees tap, which is quite costly, it has a very rich layer of chromium finish. And chromium does not allow any sort of rusting. So when you see Tata Indica or Indico, VX, all those lettering, then the handles. So if you see the upper variant of a car, it doesn't differ in any engine specification. It only differs in the amount of chromium that you use. They will say, इसमें आपको मिलेंगे chrome fitted bumpers, chrome fit on this, chrome fitted on even on the gear knob, they will put some chrome fitting, and chromium gives a very shiny look. So this is an electroplating process. Another way we use this like the cutleries that we use, silver cutleries. We say silver, but that's not exactly silver. They're also having nickel and chromium finish on them, very high premium cutleries, which you see in up-class restaurants and hotels. They are also chrome plated. Now there the idea is more for look, right? And then that is not for corrosion, I would say. If you see blades, shaving blades, now if you see Gillette or 7 O'Clock, they will add like, they'll put their ad like edge tech technology. I don't need the entire blade to have a very sharp look. Only the blade edge should be there. So it's only edge coating that happens. So the edge is coated. Screwdrivers are edge coated, and edge coated with very hard item. नहीं तो screwdriver hard नहीं है तो घुमाते हो screwdriver ही घूम जाएगा, screw वैसे ही रह जाएगा, right? So chrome plating is one, and the fifth one, the way we protect iron is alloying it. Alloying, and one of the alloy is steel. Steel is an alloy of iron and carbon. If you mix iron with carbon, then you get this alloy called steel. It's an alloy. Alloy is a homogeneous solution, solid solution. If you want to make high grade steel, like say you want to make cutters, there are machine cutters. Have you seen like you must have not seen? Okay, we have these tool room cutters which will be like small inserts. There is an Israeli company called Iskar. They are known for this. This much small tool will be there, very costly, and this tool can actually cut. So moving metals will be brought near it, and it will cut karte chala jayega. Like how you give the circle, how do you give the engine a profile cut? So you need cutters. So those all are done by stainless steel. Stainless steel means high grade, high speed stainless steel rehta hai usme, and these are of very high quality. And how do you alloy? In those we will, apart from this, we will also add elements like vanadium, tungsten, then chromium. All these will increase what? The hardness in that metal. So ये tool का life रह जाएगा. Kitchen knives. Kitchen knives are available from 100 rupees on Amazon to you will get kitchen knives for 2000 rupees. Many people will not, they will invest in a very hi-fi interior kitchen, but you look at their knife. Pathetic. It cannot even chop onions. How to test a knife? Any knife which can cut tomatoes properly is a good knife. रास्ते का चना वाला देखा है जो ऐसे खड़ा रहता है, चना बेचता है ना? What does he use? He uses a hacksaw blade, and the hacksaw blade has been ground. So वो जब टमाटर काटता है कच 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 कच. Any knife which can slice tomatoes properly is a good knife. I say that, and that's my first problem when I go and use somebody else's kitchen. Two things I need good: a potato peeler, and in this I say IKEA's quality is very good. When they sell their peelers in pair. I have till today not used my second pair. बढ़िया quality है. And knives, do not be miser on knives. Buy knives which are good quality. एक बार ही खरीदो. One of the good quality knives like Cartini's, I don't know, CARTINI. Cartini रहेगा, that's good. उससे भी higher grade आता है. Those are good knives. They will retain their sharpness. बाकी जो आप ऐसे ही देखते हो 35 रुपए में 3 मिल गए, बेकार है. So alloying, समझ में आ गया? And alloy means one of our ways that we use is like steel. The बर्तन जो हम use करते हैं उसे हम क्या कहते हैं? Stainless steel. अच्छा, how will you go to the, these all are, see, your grandmas and your people will tell you nicely. How will you go to a shop and understand that the stainless steel katoras and glasses they are selling you is exactly stainless steel? See, life skill नहीं है आप लोगों का. नहीं, आपका mistake नहीं है ये. Shine नहीं होता है. पहले ज़माने में, like when a girl is getting married, so there are some things that you will have a lot of utensils which will go from the girl's house to the boy's house, good quality steel kadhai and all. How do you know that is stainless steel? Stainless steel kabhi bhi magnet nahi pakdega. Earlier days, if you see those bua and tai na, bag mein chumbak leke jate hain dukaan mein, aise laga ke dekhenge. And if it is a ghatiya quality steel, immediately it will catch magnet. Magnetization property is lost. It will not catch magnet. Ghar mein jaake dekhna aaj. Try all your, or kabhi I don't know, I have one spoon as a sample. That spoon we got free inside agarbatti packet. I still keep it to show students. In that spoon, if I put magnet na, tapak karke chipak jata hai. वो भी steel होके आया था. ये रास्ते की दुकानों में कभी गोलगप्पा खाने के लिए एक चम्मच देता है ना, ज्यादा हार्ड होने से उसका गला ही फ्रैक्चर हो जाता है, वेरी टिपिकल स्ट्रीट साइड चम्मच. हाँ, दैट्स स्टेनलेस स्टील नहीं है वो. Good quality stainless steel will be very heavy, and stainless steel is a very good. Nowadays, people have gone on to all these La Opalas and all. The only problem is that it can't go inside a micro. A micro never gives you healthy food. End of the day, stainless steel के बर्तन बहुत अच्छे होते हैं. अच्छा stainless steel रहेगा. If you use stainless steel and a good dishwasher, you can actually see your face. Right? ठीक है? चलिए. Next, the next metal we are going to study is aluminium. Now Amazon sale is on. अगर आपको सीखना है तो just go and see pressure cooker prices. You'll see some pressure cooker 1500 में 3 pressure cooker. हाँ, जाके देखो वो pressure cooker क्या है. वो stainless steel हो ही नहीं सकता है. वो नीचे थोड़ा सा लिखा रहेगा. But people get catchy with the price. वो सब aluminium pressure cooker है. In fact, you should not eat in aluminium at all. Aluminium in Russia, Stalin used to have these prisons for World War II captives, and they call these prisons as gulags. There they feed prisoners in aluminium. Aluminium slowly creates toxin in your body, and you are supposed that it says that you will die one day. Aluminium में तो खाना ही नहीं चाहिए.
Like steel is created because it doesn't rust. So why is steel?
Steel is not galvanized. We don't galvanize steel. There are two ways. See, when you talk about steel, Zoe, first thing that has comes to our mind is the glass and the dishes that we see in our kitchen. That is stainless steel. Stainless steel is iron, carbon, and some amount of vanadium and something will be there. Steel can be even the balcony grill is steel. We call it mild steel. Depending on the amount of carbon, you can play on the quality of steel. The steel can be less hard, can be tempered more. Then say, like say we say SS314. SS314 is a very hard gauge steel. So coming back to the toilet example, the toilet bowl should be made up of SS314 grade. SS314 को आप हैक्सो से काट ही नहीं सकते हो, नहीं कटेगा वो. And if that seller is good, like I once had a tussle with that seller. I said, ये 2000 तक, सर 2000 की बोल्ट है, इसीलिए टॉयलेट पे लगा के आप ऐसे खड़े भी हो जाओ ना तो भी नहीं गिरेगा टॉयलेट. सही बात है. It has to take that strength. वरना करोड़ हो जाएगा ना. That is SS314. But it does not mean it is stainless steel. Stainless steel is a different quality which is used for eating purpose only. The railway tracks, from ages the railway tracks are running. They are also steel, not iron. They are alloys. We have mixed iron, carbon, vanadium, chromium, some many other things. And then we are getting that structure. ठीक है. और वो कोरोड नहीं करेगा. रेलवे ट्रैक के ऊपर बारिश नहीं हो रहा है क्या? रोज हो रहा है. कोरोशन हो रहा है क्या? Grades of steel, like mild steel जैसे बोलेंगे, mild steel is the steel which is used. Then mild steel pipes, MS बोलते हैं हम लोग. MS कोरोड करेगा धीरे धीरे over ages. Acid वगैरह जाएगा. All these are MS pipes that we have. Gas pipes, but slower than iron. They're mild steel. But price is very, mild steel सस्ता होता है ना. वहीं अगर आप टाइटेनियम ग्रेड से काम करोगे, suppose it's like this, a mild steel hardness is less. So if you do machining, suppose Zoe is a machiner and I give one mild steel item to her and I say, can you machine and get our camel made up of it? So she will put some charge. You bring a block of titanium and give it to her and say, make the same camel out of titanium. She will charge 7 times more than that. उसको बनाने में 5 टूल खराब हो जाएंगे. Because titanium is very, very hard grade. ऐसे बहुत alloys आते हैं. टाइटेनियम का एक और alloy होता है 15 CDV6 हम बोलते हैं. CDV6. CD means cadmium घुसा हुआ है. V vanadium घुसा हुआ है. ये सब alloys होते हैं. These will be heavy, but this can withstand all sorts of corrosion. Tanks, army tanks, कहाँ से बनते हैं? Okay, so next is aluminium. Aluminium is a very, very reactive substance, very reactive. In fact, you have not seen aluminium with your own eyes. The moment if you say, sir, I have a glass which is made up of aluminium, no, it's not aluminium. You have not seen aluminium. The moment aluminium is exposed, immediately it will oxidize. Immediately it will oxidize. And form what? Al2O3, aluminium oxide. Now look at nature. Aluminium is highly reactive, but aluminium oxide is highly resistant. Very resistant. You can't penetrate aluminium oxide. But say suppose if you take some blade and scratch it, just for a fraction you might have seen aluminum, immediately it will oxidize. So this is also used as a technology. What, instead of this oxide layer getting formed naturally, we overall superficially also increase this aluminum layer, and then that process is known as anodizing.
Why do we use this in grills?
Huh?
Why do we not use this in grills?
पैसा है उतना एल्यूमिनियम से ग्रिल हल्का है, लाइट है ना. Aluminum is light. Aluminum things are used always in aero, defense and aero and space application. We have a alloy called Inconel. Inconel is an alloy. Duralium. These are all aluminum alloy. Aircraft grade things, missile grade things, spacecraft grade things. Those are all aluminum. Aluminum's biggest advantage is aluminum is light yet very hard. You can't penetrate inside it, but it is very light. Kitna aluminum lagaoge? That's why now the study is all of, like, say, the difference between, if you talk about say an aircraft versus a missile, both go with the same speed. An aircraft is supposed to come back, a missile is sacrificed in the mission. Missile तो आएगा नहीं ना लौट के, तो missile में आप उतना costly aluminum डाल के क्या करोगे? So you look for other grades of technology. No, aluminum लगा ही नहीं सकते. We use something called composites, which will be things which are cheaper in price but will withstand same amount of heat and temperature. In fact, composite technology is one of the most upcoming technology in metallurgical sciences. जो लोग इसमें MTech वगैरह पढ़ते हैं, they are sure all these hirings that people like Airbus, Boeings, they do are all engineers who are in composite structure. Imagine a place like Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh as a place in the coastal area, if you have so many electric poles, there are so much of storms, typhoons and all. So these iron poles will fall down. So we are having composite poles. A composite car ka dashboard dekha hai? That is a composite structure. It is not iron, it is not metal, but it can have the same characteristic of, end of the day you should bear that strength. So composite. Composite is an upcoming technology. Nowadays many things are replaced by so much of metal. अगर आप missile में लगाओगे तो लौट के नहीं आएगा. So much of metals are gone. So you go for alternate source. So in aluminum, one of the ways Al2O3 itself is highly, what you call, resistive, and you can increase this layer by a process called anodizing. Anodizing is increasing the layer of aluminum oxide. This is a process that we do. Another way we can do is, have you seen Coke cans? Coke cans are aluminum cans. But is it aluminum inside? I told you, aluminum में खाना नहीं देते हैं. Coke का can देखा है ना? All the cans inside are lined with what? Tin. ये भी question पूछता है आपको. They are lined with tin and not with zinc, because zinc is more reactive. Tin is an excellent thing to line all these things. Tin lining करते हैं. All these tin foods that you get, they are all tin lined. Tin does not react. So aluminum devices or aluminum structure, what you call vessels, are given protection by either aluminum oxide, and if they're for edible purpose, we use tin, tinning the layer inside. One of the best example are your Coke cans, soda cans, tinning. Okay, so left anything? No. Okay, and the last one happens to be something that you studied in grade 8, copper. Now copper, we don't call it as rusting, we will call it as corrosion. और कॉपर के corrosion में दो चीज होता है, copper oxide. In fact, this will again react with water, so it is better to say copper hydroxide. Copper hydroxide, and there will be another layer of copper carbonate. So copper और भी dangerous है. Copper will react with air, moisture, and one more thing causes problem for copper, that is carbon dioxide. So you will have a layer of, you have a copper's corrosive layer is a mixture of copper hydroxide as well as copper carbonate. copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. And okay, have you seen the AC units that people put outside their houses? New AC units will have copper pipes, and the copper's color is exactly like gold when copper is new. 1 month gone, 2 months gone, 3 months gone. Just go outside and see the color of the pipe, black. Black is due to copper hydroxide, copper carbonate, and after sometimes you'll see a greenish layer also. If you go properly and see, you will see greenish layer. Black nahi, wo greenish hota hai. This layer is greenish actually. Copper hydroxide and copper. So when a AC technician will braze it, you know what is brazing? Copper, when they weld it, is called brazing. He will switch on the flame, and initially he'll take that black copper pipe and he'll just go on heating it. हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, सोने का रंग निकलता है जब सोना पिघलता है. So once high flame will be given on it, and after sometimes you'll see that copper coming out beautiful golden type color. That is the exact color of copper. फिर वो corrode हो जाएगा. So every copper item will have. So another question in they may ask you a question like, say, it is seen at your ancient houses, people who have copper items like copper vessels and all, they use pieces of lime to clean it. How is it getting cleaned? Lime has acid in it. Couple of acids. We don't know whether citric acid. You just say it's had acid, and the acid dissolves these layers of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. Dissolves, and then when you wash it, have you seen those some yearly big pujas when they happen? People take out some bartan, पीतल के बर्तन निकालते हैं. Brass, you know, brass is copper and zinc, and bronze is copper and tin. So brass glass, like if you go to your ancestral houses, you'll say brass glass, brass bowl, brass bells. So 2 days before puja, they will take it out. All will be in worn out condition. So they will make one person sit, give him 3-4 slices of lemon, and or else there's a solution available called brasso, red color bottle. Many people have got these peacocks and everything inside their houses. If you want to clean, have you seen brasso? Anyone has seen that? White color with a red cap. I personally cannot withstand its smell. It has got a brasso leke, they will clean. नहीं घिसते घिसते आपको nauseating होना शुरू हो जाएगा. Like many people cannot withstand paint. If you use oil paint and you go on painting, after 4 hours of painting, you will puke because it starts getting into your head. Nauseating हो जाता है. Then from your hands also you'll smell paint. Turpentine oil, have you seen? After the paint is done, what happens to the brush? Sir, he washes it in water. That paint brush is never washed in water. The paint brush will be dipped in turpentine oil. How is the paintbrush cleaned? It will be dipped in turpentine oil, taken out, and then he will rub it on the floor or any cloth. All the paint has to. A paintbrush is never. This wall paint can be cleaned by water, but oil paint brushes cannot be cleaned by water. Didn't you learn that organic solvents dissolve organic solvents? A paint is an organic solvent. How do you think water will dissolve it? Water doesn't dissolve. Nail polish remover, how do you remove nail polish? Alcohol. पानी से थोड़ी जाएगा, नहीं जाएगा कभी भी. So what you should do? Take your paintbrush, dip it in turpentine oil, and then move it on the floor. सारा paint निकलेगा, and then just dry it. But that smell is again something that will catch you. So this is all about corrosion. You generally get basic questions. So what all corrosion? End of the day, what is it? It is degradation of the quality of the metal due to a continuous slow process. Corrosion is a slow process.